started fast in every game. How much of that is, you go over those 15 plays or that first drive and the execution's been great, and how do you maintain that, throughout the second half as well?
It's just constant. It's really constant execution of what you said, and really that's happening early in the games. We all know, each football game comes with 50, 60, 70 plays, and you got to be able to execute consistently down in and down out. I think we've done a great job of that coming into football games. I think we did a good job of that, really, of trying to execute in the second half. I think what's happened, if the third quarter has been a big quarter for us, where we've gotten a lot of penalties, and we're in a lot of 2nd and 20s, 1st and 20s. And in this league, that's going to always put you in 3rd and long, and you try your best to stay out of those situations, because obviously you're not going to convert a high percentage of those. So we're just trying to be smarter on 1st and 2nd down to put us in better position for 3rd down, so we ain't in so many 3rd and longs. But that's what's killing us in the second half of last week, really in the second half of the week before. The penalties that we've gotten in the second half just put us in bad positions.
And I know you say you never want to force the football, right? But we saw, maybe based on coverage, that Gronk, especially, and some OJ were really involved. As a play caller, I know you look for those opportunities. Is it up to you to get those guys involved as well?
Yeah, but you can't control what the defense does, right? You can't really control. If they want to put 3 on Mike, they're going to put 3 on Mike, If they want to do what they want to do, they're going to do what they feel as though they have to do. We got to be structured in a way that the guy that get the one-on-one matchup, the guy that the ball do go to, makes the play. And I think that's what we're trying to develop. Like I tell you, don't force feed it. We'll get guys the ball. I'm always trying to put these guys in position. So everything is thought out all the time. Sometimes the ball don't come his way, but obviously it came his way last week, and we'll see.
Thanks.
All right, next is going to be Greg Allman.
Hey, Byron, the Chargers are starting a rookie quarterback against you guys on Sunday. And obviously over 20 years, a lot of guys have been rookie quarterbacks playing against Tom Brady over the years. I want to ask you what you remember. It's been a couple of years, but what you remember about going up against him in 2003 and what the mindset has to be. Obviously, you're not going technically up against Tom Brady when you're a rookie quarterback, but just what you remember and how you handled that.
I remember it being extremely cold. That's what I really remember about that. And I knew they were a good football team. At the time, we had no idea, he would be who he became at the time. But really, as the quarterback, you're really worried about the defense. You're worried about the guys that you're competing against for the most part, because you never really get an opportunity to see the opposing team's quarterback, to see the opposing team offensive film. You're really more concerned about the defense and what they're doing and how you're trying to execute.
Do you remember what interaction you had with him in that game, if any?
Yeah, we had a lot. I remember us talking after the game. I remember us talking after a playoff game where we lost to those guys. So we had great conversations when we saw each other all the time. Even, what was that, 17, whatever that was, 17 years ago. We've always been in a good spot when we saw each other. We always communicated. Now we just so happen to be working with each other.
Thanks, Byron.
Thank you.
Next is going to be Gina Lane.
Hey, Coach. You mentioned the second half, the penalties in the third quarter and everything. In your experience, why is it you think that teams come out at the half and struggle with penalties? Or why do you think your guys are struggling with penalties coming after halftime?
Just not execution. Some of them were earned, to be honest with you. Some of them were earned. When you play football, sometimes there are penalties, especially post-snap penalties. And the ones that really kill you are the pre-snap penalties. We got to do a better job of just not having pre-snap penalties and trying to limit as many post-snap penalties as possible. What I do like about our guys are being aggressive, and they're playing in an aggressive way. And sometimes those penalties come about. So you try to teach through those penalties without stopping the guys from being aggressive. So I love the aggressiveness that we're playing with. We just got to do a better job with our technique to put us in better situations.
And I had asked Tom about this already in postgame, but on the throw to both Scotty Miller and O.J. Howard, 2 big-time throws, 2 big-time catches, the amount of separation between receiver or tight end and defender was very, very little. Are those signs of Tom becoming more and more comfortable with your offense, the fact that he's able and willing to take those kinds of risks on those tough throws? Is that him taking a step forward in your offense, you think?
Maybe. I don't know about those like specific 2 throws, but like each day I see him getting more comfortable. I see his body language. I can see the way that he's moving. He's beginning to learn everything more. He's really beginning to learn our guys more and just knowing where to put the ball, when to go to certain guys. So it's still a learning process really for all of us. It's not really all about him having to do the learning. I think we as coaches have to do some learning. I think we as players have to do some learning because it is all different. We're having some instances happen for the first time in football games where we're just having opportunities to really talk about them because they're unique to what happened that day, that play, and that always happens. So we understand that. We'll keep communicating. We're just trying to execute every play as much as possible, and then hopefully that's good enough to win a football game.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Okay, next is going to be James Palmer.
Hey, Byron, Tom's been a pretty good play action quarterback for a while, but you guys are using it only 14% of the time. What's the correlation there?
I don't really know. I don't want to put no correlation. I don't know what percentage we were at first and where we should really be at from a percentage standpoint. I'm fine where we at, as an offense and what we're doing things that's putting us in position to be successful. Everything we try to do to have success, and we'll do the right things that we feel as though we need to do to win each individual ball game, whichever ball game that is, whatever game plan that is, we'll try to execute it to the best of our ability to be successful.
And you mentioned a lot of the stuff you guys are doing, you're seeing it for the first time in a game, and this was where we saw Gronkowski be quite the pass catcher for the first time for you guys. What did you see when you went back and watched him out there actually catching balls for the first time for you, running a lot of routes, and what did you see overall from his game, playing a ton of snaps too?
You got to think it's new for him too. Everything is new for everybody really in the huddle. It's learning an offense, it always takes some time. And it's not just about knowing the X's and O's and knowing it on paper. Sometimes things got to happen on the grass where you can learn. And I think we're all getting better. I think I'm doing a better job of learning Tom, learning Gronk, putting these guys in better positions. I think the players are doing a better job of getting better, of getting in position, making plays. And I think if we just stay at that pace, stay at that rate, keep getting better, trying to do things we can to win football games, I think we'll be fine.
Thanks, Byron.
Thank you.
Next is going to be Ed and Cena.
Hi, Byron. And I know you guys operate with a next man up mentality, but in a situation where you might be without Chris Godwin and Scotty Miller, two important pieces of your passing game, how do you kind of go about replacing those two kind of weapons?
Well, first, I just go about it as, like I tell you guys, I trust in everybody on this team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I know what the guys can do. I know what they bring to the table. So it's just really my job to try to put these guys in position to have success, regardless of who it is. If it's Mike, Chris, Scotty, if it's not those guys, if it's other guys, just constantly keep trying to put them in position to be successful. That's what the game of football is really all about, going out there, playing football. It's a lot of guys in this league that can play good football that guys just don't know of. They just need opportunities. So we don't mind giving guys opportunities to be them best self and play the game that they love and try to play it at a high level. So I don't really see it that way. I see it as who's ever out there. I trust and believe there's been enough coaching, there's been enough reps to trust that these guys can get the job done. That's the only way I view it really as a coach.
And one of those guys, and obviously he had a different situation because he was hurt for most of training camp. Obviously, Tyler Johnson. I mean, we saw him a little bit last week, but what is he where he needs to be right now?
I don't know if any rookies where they need to be right now, really across the league. It's just been such a different year. I think he's better from a health standpoint, and that was first and foremost. Unfortunately for the kid, he hurt himself badly early in the year, and he had no training camp. So, I mean, coming off of no OTAs, no summer, to have no training camp, I like where he's at. He's functional to be out in the game. Now he's just got to learn how to insert himself within the offense and make plays that come his way. But I think he's doing a heck of a job of trying to go to work, learn. He's working hard at it, but he's still a rookie. We understand that. We understand there'll be some growing pains. We just want him to keep working, keep getting better, and make plays when they come his way.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next is going to be Kevin O'Donnell.
Hey, Byron. Yeah, really haven't had Chris Godwin and Mike Evans on the field together much this season. How much has it slowed the growth, you think, of the offense as you guys are trying to get on the same page together, but not having all those pieces? And has that slowed the growth at all?
It's just been different. You know, these guys, they're so reliable. And when they're in the huddle, you're a better football team. And 10 days before the opening day, I think we lost Mike, something like that, a week and a half. Mike didn't practice before the first game. Then we lose Chris the week after, and then, you know, he's down now. So it's been different, but it's giving guys opportunities to come in and play and make plays. It's giving guys some experience. Obviously, you're a better football team anytime you have both of those guys out there. But we'll have to do what we have to do. We understand that injuries come with football. We're just going to continuously keep working our butt off and just try to keep putting our hand in the pile and add. And guys get opportunities. They just got to make plays.
And Thomas had that issue his whole career, losing receivers quite a bit in New England, having to adjust. Do you see that he's taking extra time now with these guys that haven't had the reps, putting in some extra work to try to get them up to speed and showing them what he likes and what he expects out of them?
I think he's always done that. He's done that now for months now, and that's who he is. That's how he operates. So that won't be no different from that standpoint, because that's something that he continuously done since he's been here.
All right, we're going to close out with one question from Luke Easterling.
Byron, the Chargers are going to be without a couple of their big defensive playmakers. Melvin Ingram, Derwin James aren't going to be on the field. Does that, you know, when you're missing a couple of defenders like that, does that change the game plan or the approach at all on your end in any way?
Not really, because you cut the tape on and you see how well that they're playing. You know they well coached by who's there coaching them. This is a well-coached team. This is a team that plays hard. They play physical. They show up on tape all the time, constantly. So we understand what we're up against. This is the National Football League. You know, we preach all the time, next man up here, and we believe in it. So we assume that everybody else believes in it too. So we'll give everybody their due respect. This is the National Football League. This is players with the best in the world. And there's a lot of guys out here that know how to play the game of football and can play the game at a high level. So we respect all those guys. We don't care who they are. We understand that they're good enough to have success in this league, so we prepare that way.
All right, that's all for today. Thanks, Byron.
All right, thanks, guys.